I'm Damaris Jordan here in the studio of Clark's Chapel Baptist Church. And I've missed a couple of weeks or so, I think, because we have been relocating. We are now back in Thomaston, and where David is working full-time as the minister of music and pastor's assistant. And we are just thrilled to be back home. I have another one of my diaries that I want to share with you. It's in the midst of needing the very thing that I'm talking about today. And, when you're in a push situation, a strain, so to speak, because there's so much to do, and certainly moving after being in one place 22 years, you really don't know what you have, do you, until you start pulling it all out. And now going through it and trying to make some wise decisions of what is the best to keep and what is the best to do with the rest of it. Those are things that we're going through right now, getting our home set up and looking forward to hopefully the rest of our lives right there. We're very happy. I have a story today. The title of it is Help Me, Help You. You may be familiar with that phrase if you saw a movie from years ago that phrase became very popular. But it is so very true in certain circumstances. And I wanted to share something with you today that relates to that statement. I want to share a scripture from Psalm 22:1. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? Why art thou so far from me and from the words of my roaring? This is a cry, of course, as we know, a psalm of David asking for help. Why art thou so far from helping me? He needed God, and yet he didn't feel his presence or his help in the situation he found himself in. This can be so true for us, can it? And not only us alone, but as we relate in relationship to other people. I remember very specifically having a conversation with someone, and they were in a desperate place, so to speak. Many changes taking place in their life and many changes needed. And in their comment to me as we were talking and sharing, discussing their life, they made the statement, I can't live like this any longer. What a helpless feeling that is, to know that you can't live like this any longer. Whether it be some of your own actions or actions of others, just a situation you found yourself in physically, emotionally, financially, so many different circumstances that we can certainly relate to. As I was standing there and I heard this comment, I really realized that this statement was far beyond my capabilities, and that it was a statement made, and really not to me, but just needing me to relate to them. And I knew right away that it was actually a cry for help to God, and that God would hear that cry, and God would do what He could. And I used that word very carefully, do what He could. I began to pray about this person's situation. I knew that truly God had put me in that place to have compassion and to support the needs of this person with my prayer and any words of encouragement that He gave me. Soon after this happened, I did recall that story that I mentioned to you. It was about a qualified athlete who was being overlooked and wanted to find the attention turned on him and to get a good contract for his profession. So he asked an agent to represent him. And the agent had ideas why this man wasn't being chosen, why employers were looking over him, and he shared those with this ball player. And when he kept sharing these ideas, it didn't seem like the man was really hearing him, but in fact was only turning back comments as if he were blaming the agent for not doing a good job. And so the agent's reply to that athlete was, help me help you. And that's such an important condition that we have to accept. You know, in my life and in yours, I know that God is put into a circumstance or a situation and bound by decisions we make, things that we do. I realized that God was speaking to me to take a look at myself when I heard those words spoken from a friend. And he was telling me that, he would, he could, and he should help in many situations. But it was actually me or other people holding him back. If I'm not following God's instructions, just like this young man in the story wasn't following the instructions of the agent, embracing what he gives me as guidelines to live by, I have given him obstacles that only I can remove. I put them in his way. He's not going to overrun them. He's going to wait for me to realize what I've done and to make a correction. It isn't God's fault at all that I'm having to face certain tests and trials, feeling alone at times, and dealing with the same issues over and over again. Is that where you find yourself at times, facing the same situations, circumstances, over and over again? God can only help me when I allow him to do it, when I make the path open and tell him to help me. Then he has the freedom to work and can help me in my daily living. You know, as simple as moving. There are so many things when a house is so different from where you've lived for 22 years. Placing furniture, knowing when your acquired blessings are just too many and they've become burdens to you. Making the decision to just size down, and that's what David and I have decided to do. But there are a lot of things that were kept for what I thought was the right reason, and that's sentimental attachment, just memories of who blessed us with something. Maybe it was something I've just had for so many years I didn't want to let it go. Just things that we do to ourselves. And so right now I'm praying. I've asked for others to pray for me. I've asked David to help me, and that is to be wise in what I do, and to do the very best for our home at this time in our life. I want you to think about this. The agent wanted the man he was representing to embrace his ideas, using them to make some changes for his own good. When we cry out, "I can't live like this any longer," we are asking for help from God. But God needs for us to give up our own ways in life and live according to his perfect ways, so that he is willing to help us under the circumstances he finds us in. He'll even give us the strength to do it through his unending grace that meets all our needs. And it's true. This predicament, in being as old as I am now, just having the endurance to do what I've been doing, I have found that this move has helped me immensely. Just some things in my, own physical present situation, but after having COVID and not being down for so long and not getting my endurance back up from just that alone, this venture has made me push beyond what I thought I could do. And isn't that the way sometimes we need for God to put us in situations where we push ourselves beyond what we think we're able? Because then it really isn't us at all. It's God enabling us to be more. I hope this has blessed you. If someone comes to you and says, "I can't live like this any longer," don't feel like you have to answer that question for them, because it's just them crying out, and God hears. But you can be there to encourage and to help them see whatever changes need to be made so that God can lead them through. Bless you. Let your light shine.